ba 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 ba. One, two. I wish you'd look at me that way. Your beautiful eyes looking deep into mine, telling me more than any word could say. But you don't even know I'm alive. Baby, to you, all I am is the invisible man. Had to do it. So yes, we are on The Invisible Man from 1933, starring Claude Rains and directed by James Whale, who, upon reading this, he came and went so much they should just let the door open. He was attached to direct, but he didn't want to direct a horror movie, so he went on to something else, right? Ended up doing another horror movie with the guy who was going to play the Invisible Man, that being Boris Karloff. But that didn't work out, so Whale came back. And he left again because of some problems. And he came back and then he directed this. Likewise, on the other side of things, Karloff was set to star, but then as he wanted to run out his contract, he had like 5 movies on his contract, but he kept doing more, and eventually they just gave it to Claude Rains, who I think is perfect for the role. So many moons ago, back when the Invisible Man remake by Lee Winnell was going to come out, I was going to review this movie, so I had the original in my mind and that. I watched the movie, and I didn't know where to start. I really don't know where to start here either, but I already told myself I was doing this, so there you have it. Speaking of which, I think the movie knew where to start. Well, this movie is somewhat of an adaptation of H.G. Wells' novel, The Invisible Man. Also taking inspiration from Murders of the Invisible, I think is what it's called, the other novel they used. This movie, it's not like medium res, where you start, and then you go back. No, it's like in the middle of a story, and we just keep going. Like, it starts with, he's already invisible. Most of these Universal movies, you see some, like Frankenstein, you see the creation of the monster, right? The Mummy, you see how the Mummy, you see his backstory. You get told his backstory here, which is an improvement on the unnecessary flashback sequence in the middle of The Mummy. But you start at this inn in the middle of nowhere, like as you do in many horror movies. Kind of think the American Underwear from London took from that. We'll get to that. He goes into this and he's wrapped around his face and the shades. He asks for a room and a fire, and they eventually give it to him. But there's something off about this person. We find out he is invisible. Yes. He has like hair sticking out. I think it's not real hair, but yeah. People begin to complain about his attitude and everything, and they're going to kick him out. And so he becomes invisible. And I'll tell you what, the effects in this are pretty good for the time. Like, they had to take, and they had to have Claude Rains wear like a black wool thing over his face, and then they had to kind of cut it around it manually and do it to his invisible. And then the effect at the end, I don't know how the hell they did that. I have one complaint though, is there's a point where he's walking in the snow. This man is supposed to be bare ass naked, and they look like shoe prints. Not footprints. There should be toes on there, but they look like shoes. He's not wearing shoes. He's naked. So I don't know. It's a minor nitpick, but Claude Rains is really good. Even if you don't see him at all during this film, he's either covered up with the bandage or he's invisible. So you don't see him till the very end of this film, after he dies, and you see just him become visible again, which is a weird. Much like with the Hollow Man, you do see the skeleton, but it's not as, overly obvious. Uh, I was a fan of the 2021. I really like Hollow Man. I think that was pretty good. And then this one's not bad, but I don't know. As the Universal monsters, I'm more likely to revisit Dracula or Frankenstein, even the Mummy at this point. This was fine. There's an actress, what is her name? Nuda Von something or other. She works at the inn, and she is just. She was a stage actor, and you could tell she was a stage actor because she's giving it her all. The face expression, she's giving it her all there. Yeah. Yeah. So eventually they find out that there's an invisible man. They don't know who he is because he just checked in because he didn't put his name down apparently. But no, they found out there's an invisible man, so they're trying to hunt him down now. But a colleague of this, his name is Jack Griffin, a colleague of Griffin's and Griffin's fiance, girlfriend, Flora, are also there because every one of these movies needs a fiance, I guess. His other colleague, Zipper, or whatever his name is, shows up and tries to help him, but we find out he actually calls the other guy and Flora, and they're on their way. He also called the police. So. Need a burp. I don't know. But, yeah. So, eventually they show up, and he shows, I'm just going to call him Zip. I don't remember his name. Zip. He tells Zip, tonight at 10 o'clock, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to kill you for what you have done. He also derails this train, killing 100 people on the train. That's the biggest kill count in Universal Monsters. I don't think it's any bigger than that. With Dracula, he killed Lucy, right? And presumably before that. But he killed Lucy and he killed Renfield during the run of the movie. Lucy and Renfield, he killed 2. Frankenstein, killed a little girl, 1. The Mummy, did he kill anyone? I know that guy went cuckoo and lapped himself to death. Cuckoo pants, I called him. He went cuckoo and lapped himself to death, but did he actually physically kill anyone? I don't remember. I'm sure it wasn't anywhere near 100. So, just saying. Big body count. I like how they had this meeting and they want to make sure that the Invisible Man's not in there. So they have this net and they're kind of bringing it across the room. And I'm sitting there going, okay, you go to do that, he steps to the side. You go back the other way, he steps to the other side. Or he's already behind you, just walking with you. How is that? I don't know. I don't know how that works. But the plan, it basically is to hide Zip and get him out of there. It doesn't work because Jack's already in the car with him and he crashes the car. So apparently there is this drug in there called monocaine that make him go a little bit of the crazy, make him act this way. Where in all of the depictions of an Invisible Man, he's either in Hollow Man, it's the exposure from being invisible too long, and in the Invisible Man remake, he's just an asshole. So yeah, and that's like a suit. So he goes cuckoo pants. I haven't seen the sequel. And that's why he's killing everyone. This dude walks around invisible going, here we go gathering nuts in May, nuts in May, nuts in May. Here we go gathering nuts in May. Really? And it is. Excuse me. I needed that though. Yeah, just eventually, due to the footprints without toes, but they should be because he's naked. Um, uh, they shoot him, and you get this imprint on the thing, and he lays in bed. They said there's nothing they can do for him because he's invisible, and they won't. They can't do any surgery because he's invisible. Okay, but like, can't you feel around? I guess you don't want to try that. There was no devices back then, I guess, in 1933. I guess that's it. So he dies. Flora is there, and he becomes invisible again. We see Claude Rains for the first time at the end of the movie. The movie ends. So, yeah. The invisible stuff in this is pretty good. Like, there's some things, like, when he's taking off the clothes, he's changing. I guess they really wanted to show this invisible. It looks good. Sometimes it's wonky, but it works. They lighting the cigarette, when there's nothing there, he's just like, have me a cigarette. And he gives him one, and it's invisible, and he lights it, and it's just like, he starts smoking it, and he's invisible. It's really good. The effects for 1933, it's really good. You know? Monocaine. Monocaine. All the other ones say it's just like he goes mad from being invisible for too long. That's what they say about the Hollow Man. Yeah. Sorry about that. The actress who played Flora is actually the old lady who throws the heart of the ocean over the ship in Titanic. Yes, Old Rose. Yep. Interesting thing to note there. Dwight Fry also has a small cameo. Blink and you miss it one. Very small cameo. Yes. But yes. This wasn't bad. I'll give it a middle of the road. It is my least favorite of the ones I've watched so far, but it's not bad. I guess this was the highest grossing one. I think from what I hear, it was a hit. With the effects, I can see it. Back in 1933, I could see with the effects how this could be a hit, and the word of mouth coming out. You have to go see this movie. He's invisible. He's really invisible. You know what I mean? That whole sort of thing. So I can see that. Yeah, so what are your thoughts on The Invisible Man? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.